You have come up with a trade that you think will make sense, will benefit both sides, and will shake up the draft. Let's hear it.
Greeny, I really like this trade. Carolina at number 8 has Sam Darnold. They also owe the New York Jets a 2nd and 4th round pick next year. Bill Belichick, despite never taking a quarterback in the first round, needs a starter to replace Cam Newton long term. If one of those quarterbacks, Mac Jones, Trey Lance, or Justin Fields is there at 8, New England should go up to the 8th pick, give up 15 and next year's 1. Carolina now has the 15th pick, Sam Darnold, and 2 1s next year, and not a 2 and a 4. New England pays half the price that San Francisco did, has Cam Newton short term, and now a quarterback long term. And going back a number of years ago, the night before the 2007 draft, I reached an agreement in principle with Carolina to trade up for Darrelle Revis. And the reason we did that was we knew we wanted to come up for one player. Marty Herney, the general manager, then wanted to trade back. And we reached an agreement in principle basically where he was not going to ask for more on the clock. We were not going to try to do it for less. And we were trying to box out the competition. And I'm sure that that's what Coach Belichick's doing right now. He's talking to Denver, Carolina, and Detroit to try to put a framework of a deal together.
So let me make sure, because I understand what you're saying, and I do think it makes sense. But to be specific, are you referring to one specific, is there a particular quarterback that you think has to be there for him to want to do this, or do you think it's for any quarterback that falls there?
Well, I think it's likely that either Trey Lance or Justin Fields could be there. I do think Mac Jones will go 3, and I think either of those 2 quarterbacks has tremendous potential and a high ceiling. And if they could sit for a year and be coached by Josh McDaniels and Bill Belichick, I think that's a great situation for both that player and the Patriots organization. And to do it for only 1-1 in 2022 is really smart business.
Okay, so maybe a trade that helps both teams. Bart Scott, you look skeptical. What do you think?
No, in the words of old school, that was perfect. I have nothing to add to that. I mean, that's absolutely what I believe the Patriots should do, especially if San Francisco messes the entire draft up by taking Mac Jones. I mean, I think that would be I'm looking at it with disgust because, once again, the Patriots finished on top. They had a tremendous offseason. If you add a guy like Trey Lance or add a guy like Justin Fields, imagine what that can do. Finally, Josh McDaniels has a mobile quarterback in his prime right now that can control the backside defensive end and a backside linebacker that creates tremendous pockets to throw the ball to. You know, when you have a mobile quarterback that you have to respect his ability to boot, also to be able to hold the backside defensive end, it creates tremendous running lanes, and I believe that's the way that Bill Belichick wants to win. And also it gives them a cheap quarterback where they can go out and luxury spend again, and the whole league will be in trouble again. So please, thanks a lot, San Francisco. I love you, but I got to do you.
Okay, so Bart Scott likes it. Damien Woody, what do you think?
No, I absolutely agree with Mike Tannenbaum. I think when you're the Patriots, you spent like a drunken sailor for this free agency. You addressed a plethora of positions, both on offense and defense, but the one position they didn't address was the quarterback position. And all you have to do is look within your own division to see what's going on and the sense of urgency that the Patriots have this year. You have the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen, who's right on the precipice of being an MVP. You got Tua down there in Miami. The Jets are going to draft more than likely Zach Wilson at the number 2 pick. So if you're the Patriots, you got Cam Newton on a 1-year deal, and you don't have a viable quarterback for the future. So this is a prime opportunity for the Patriots to address that, and that quarterback not be in a position where they have to be pressed into a starting role because you have Cam Newton on the roster.
So everyone seems to like it, Jeff. Let's talk about the likelihood that he does it. This is something Bill Belichick has never done in his entire career as a coach or the leader of an organization in the NFL. Now, the obvious caveat is that for the overwhelming majority of that time, he had Tom Brady as his quarterback, so he didn't have to do it. So how would you assess the likelihood that Belichick shakes up this draft by trading up for a quarterback?
So this is complicated, to your exact points. When I have conversations with people around the NFL, they don't know what to expect from Belichick in this situation. They feel like they've got some sort of sense that he doesn't often trade up in the draft without a very clear target. Normally, it's all about acquiring picks. This is not a traditional year when it comes to Belichick. So to your point, there still is a skeptical sense around the league that he will be overly aggressive to move into that spot. But one thing we should point out is that Belichick has been hitting up these quarterback pro days like never before. He was even at Trevor Lawrence's pro day, knowing he wasn't going to draft him because he wants to understand the landscape of this quarterback class better than anyone. So he is very clearly targeting a quarterback in this draft. It's a matter of who, and it's a matter of where.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.